Okay, I was going to make a video, even though I don't feel like it. I'm still sick. Today's October the 13th, 2015 is going on 8/20. This is it's a Tuesday. I was usually going to make a video on Wednesday, but I didn't make one Sunday because I was sick and I just couldn't get my act together. So I thought I would make one tonight since it's quiet and I'm not in the mood to watch any TV. I probably will read before I go to bed, but right now I thought I'd make a video because I want to get these books off my desk here in my study. And these are the books I've gotten since my last video. I got this book. I volunteer at the local library used bookstore on Saturdays, and I get a free book. It can't be over $2. And I got this, Donald Hall, Essays After 80. I have several books by Donald Hall. He's a poet. He writes essays. He's written children's books. He's written books on poets. And so I got that as my free book. And then I got this book in the mail this week, Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal. It's a memoir by Jeanette Witherson. I got this week to read. I collect her writings. I have 3 of her novels in our library. I went to a rummage sale at a local church and I found this book, A Frolic of His Own, a novel by William Gaddis. I had 2 other copies. This is my 3rd copy. It was only, like a quarter, and I couldn't resist. I also got this book at the rummage sale by Malcolm Bradbury, Dangerous Pilgrimages, Transatlantic Mythologies, and the Novel. Like in this book, there's a chapter on, for example, Gertrude Stein, D.H. Lawrence, and the Modern Century. There's a chapter in here on Down and Out in Paris and Mexico, Henry Miller, Malcolm Lowry, and The Low Dishonest Decade. I have several books by Malcolm Bradbury. I had this book in paperback, but this was a nice hardback edition, nice cover, so that's what I got. And today I went to some thrift stores and I found Troubled Sleep by Jean-Paul Sartre. This is his 3rd volume in a trilogy, Troubled Sleep. This is the 3rd. The first, I collect Sartre's writings. This is the 3rd, the first in the trilogy, The Age of Reason. And the 2nd in the trilogy is The Reprieve by Sartre. So now I have all 3 volumes in the trilogy. I got in the mail today a biography I ordered on Penelope Fitzgerald, A Life by Herman Lee. I collect her writings. She's famous for The Blue Flower, Penelope Fitzgerald, which won the Booker Prize a couple of years ago. So I like reading about writers, and after I read their novels, I like to know about them. I also have her book, The Bookshop by Penelope Fitzgerald. Also at the thrift stores today, I found this novel by a Canadian writer, a woman writer, Anne Maria MacDonald, Fall on Your Knees. And it looks kind of interesting and has a lot of good reviews, and she's mainly a playwright, but this is her first novel, got all kinds of good reviews, so it looked interesting, so I got it. I also picked up a Wild Child, Other Stories by D.C. Boyle. I wasn't sure if I had this, and I picked it up anyway, and I had a copy of it, so now I got 2 copies. And then finally I picked up in hardback The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have this in paperback, an old paperback, and I found a nice hardback edition, so that's what I got. So those are the books I got this since my last video. I've been reading still Love and Death in the American Novel by Leslie A. Fielder. I've been reading that in my sick condition. I'm kind of a person, I like to just read, and some people, I just read, even sometimes I don't know exactly, understand everything I'm reading, but I just like reading words. It's kind of strange, but I can sit down and read very abstract, postmodernist books, and I don't know what I'm reading, but I like just reading all the words. It's kind of strange, but so I've been reading this. I think I understand about most of what I'm reading in here, even though he takes a Freudian approach to literary analysis, which I don't agree with. I don't feel comfortable with it, but it's still very interesting, and I enjoy reading it. I also been reading The Romantic Foundations of American Renaissance. I've had this book for a long time, and what I do is I pick it up once in a while and I just read it, even though it's kind of a heavy book, but I enjoy reading things that challenge my thinking. This is by Leon Chow, and today I was reading his chapter on Edgar Allan Poe, and it's kind of interesting, and I'm just going to read it until I get tired of it. As far as my diary, I'm on page, in my diary, I'm on page, tomorrow, I'm on page 822. 822 of my 2015 diary. When I get in the middle of the month, which is the 15th, I go to a second volume. I try to put half and half of a month in two separate folders. Usually a folder holds about 65 pages to 70. Sometimes, right now, due to my sickness, I'm not writing as much, but usually I write around 70 pages. Oh, you know, pretty much, maybe 104 pages a month, which winds up around, you know, it's not always, but it's generally what I write. So as far as my spiritual books, I still have on my desk Return to Me, A Biblical Theology of Repentance by Mark Bola. I haven't really got into that. I really haven't got into my spiritual books. I've just been too sick and I can't get my head together. I got a sheet about doing book reviews. You know, I don't do book reviews because I probably do review books, but I say what I like when I don't like. But I have a hard time judging a book like 5 stars, you know, 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4. I don't know. To me, I just can't do that. And maybe in the future I'll do video of the books that I really have read over the years and that I would tell somebody to read. I don't really have that many recommendations. I do have my favorite writers, like Joyce Carol Oates, John Updike, Paul Astor, you know, Philip Roth, you know, people like that, D.C. Boyle. I do like Anna Bruckner, people like that. But I have a hard time doing book reviews, but I might try in the future. So that's all I gotta say, and maybe I'll make a video before this week or next week. Bye.